Of course, the beeping starts as soon as I have turned on the camera. Hi! If you've watched any of my vlogs recently, you'll know that this Christmas is a Christmas of turmoil. My life is in boxes. I am moving house tonight and tomorrow. I'm about to lose my job and I don't have a job lined up for next year. So I think it's fair to say that this Christmas is also a Christmas of budget. Which is why I'm going to share with you, and also with future me, some tips on how to survive Christmas on a limited budget. And then, throughout this Christmas season / Vlogmas season, you can see me putting some of these tips into practice to prove to you how effective they are. The first and most important thing for you to do if you have a limited budget to work with for Christmas is to set out your budget. And by that I mean really set it out in black and white. Be absolutely and brutally honest with yourself about exactly how much you can afford to spend on Christmas this year. And don't forget to allocate money to getting a Christmas tree if you need to get a Christmas tree, Christmas food that you need to buy, activities that you may or may not want to do, and going to lunch and Christmas celebrations with work colleagues or friends when you are calculating your budget. Following on from that, the second most important thing for you to do is to track your budget as the Christmas season progresses. Write down everything that is Christmas related that you are spending money on so that you know how much more of your budget you have left to spend. And don't forget to be as strict about this as possible. Make sure that you're noting down any impulse purchases that you might be making throughout the Christmas season as well, and to factor them into your budget as you go. Thirdly, if you do want to stretch out your Christmas budget a little bit more for the holiday season, consider going through your house and finding things that you don't want anymore and selling them. And finally, plan ahead. Start thinking about Christmas as early as possible, planning the ways in which you can save money on various things that you want to do, and setting aside money as early as you can so that you have that money to spend when you need it. So now let's talk about decoration. The most obvious tip for decoration is of course to get crafty. If you already have decorations from previous Christmas years, then use them. If you're the kind of person who desperately wants to make a new theme every year for Christmas, or to get new decorations for Christmas, or if you don't have any Christmas decorations to start with, then consider trying to make your own. If you do decide to make your own decorations, remember to try and use what you have. The point of crafting here is to save yourself money, not to end up spending more money buying things to make the crafts. Following on from that, if you're trying to craft your own decorations, embrace the power of paper decorations. Whether it's window cutouts, bunting, tassels, origami decorations, paper trees, paper houses, paper chains, there are so many things that you can do with just a simple sheet of paper that will instantly bring your house some extra festive cheer and basically cost you no money at all. And finally, one thing that people often overlook when they're thinking about their Christmas decorating budgets is to be aware of electricity costs for Christmas lights. Make sure to factor in the cost of electricity if you're going to be running fairy lights, or consider trying to limit the amount of fairy lights that you're using in your Christmas decorations this year. Next up, let's talk about gifts and wrapping. As for decoration, the very first and most obvious tip, of course, is to go for homemade gifts. And when you're making homemade gifts, try to play to your own strengths and hobbies. If you have a love of cooking, then consider making home-cooked food, because everyone loves a good Christmas treat. You might be into knitting or crocheting or sewing or painting, whatever it is that you like to do or that you feel passionate about doing. Use that to your advantage to create some really meaningful homemade Christmas gifts this year. And again, remember that the point of having homemade gifts is to save yourself money. So try and use what you've got. When you do shop for gifts, make sure you shop wisely. Try and use web extensions like Honey to find discounts that will save you extra money on all of your gifts. And following on from that, try and start shopping early. The earlier you buy your gifts, the less you'll have to spend on shipping in order to get them to you by Christmas. If you have an extended family that regularly exchanges gifts, consider asking them if they'd rather do a Secret Santa or Kris Kringle exchange instead, in order to try and limit the amount of money that you need to spend on gifts for extended family members. And finally, don't overlook wrapping the presents themselves. It can be very easy to accidentally spend a lot of money on fancy gift wrapping paper, gift cards, ribbons, tassels, baubles, and things to decorate your gift wrapping with. But try and remember that there are lots of really classy, wonderful, and festive things that you can do with just plain craft paper, butcher's paper, or even newspaper when you're wrapping your gifts. Food and celebrations is one area of Christmas that you pretty much can't avoid spending money on, which is why it's probably recommendable to try and limit the amount of money that you're spending on decorations and gifts so that you can use that money on the actual food that you're likely to eat during the Christmas season. Tip number 1 is to try and avoid the big Christmas shop. Instead, try and stock up on the things that you are likely to need throughout the whole Christmas season in smaller shops in order to save yourself that big splurge that you're going to have to do if you're buying the bulk of your Christmas food at once. Secondly, it might sound kind of stupid to say, but try and avoid going for the massive gourmet meals. Do your research and find the simple, more homely, traditional foods that you can cook for Christmas that will save you that extra cash rather than spending it on creating big fancy Christmas cook-ups. Thirdly, as I said, be aware of how many Christmas outings you're likely to have to go on this Christmas season. Whether you have regular friends catch-ups with your circle of friends, or whether your workplace tends to do Christmas breakups and Christmas dinners, be aware of how much you're likely to have to spend on those, and remember to factor that into your plan for your Christmas budget. So those are all of my relatively simple, relatively obvious tips for how to try and save yourself money during the Christmas season and to make sure that your Christmas still feels festive and bright and bubbly even if you are working on a limited budget. I hope that you enjoyed them and I hope that some of them were useful. I myself will be using a lot of these throughout the Christmas season and making videos of myself utilizing these tips as I go. I will see you tomorrow for another Vlogmas video, and until then, as always, stay festive.
I love those Jingle bells. Oh, those holiday